Hello, everyone.
Welcome to the Queers of Time podcast.
I'm Matt.
I'm James.
I'm Kenny.
And I'm Kat.
And this is a podcast to talk about all the gay stuff in the Wheel of Time.
Because we're gay and we like the Wheel of Time.
Welcome to this episode of the Queers of Time. As always, we wanted to give a shout out to our feral venerator of Soiree, Lurks, as well as a new patron, Dan Durgan. Thank you so much.
Look, who can blame Lanfear for trying to get her some of that dragon dick? You spend an eternity locked up, then come out of your ancient seal covered in 3,000 years worth of that crimson tide, and Ishamael's like, okay, time to be evil. But no, you don't want to be evil. You want that Josha, that Rand, bussy, and who could blame you? Then, just when you're about to ride that feral ginger into the sunset, you get bonked by an angry Rosamund Pike who sends you to horny jail. I mean, I would be a little angry too. Anyway, we're talking about the beauty of Lanfear and I guess the other stuff that happens in episode 4, The Daughter of the Night.
First thing, as for the previous episode, we're gonna have a first part that does not contain any book spoiler. If you have only watched the show, you can follow along, and after that, we'll switch to full book spoiler. Actually, I don't think we have that many book spoilers today, because there's so many things being revealed that things that we used to talk in the book spoiler section are now available for this section.
Yeah, I was when I was doing the notes, I was like all in the non-spoilery section, and then I was like, I have one thing for the spoiler bit, and there's not really much there.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah. What do we want to kind of start out with? I guess the shortest one is Nynaeve.
Yeah. Or, I mean, technically it would be Matt and Min, no?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, barely them. I don't know if I had any notes about them.
I don't think I did either. But it was cute. It was fine. It was good.
I mean, Min and Matt, yeah, but like quickly, you can also talk about Min by yourself. Because it's like, if you talk about Min and Matt, you're going to continue with Min and Ishamael.
I do enjoy how much of a bigger role the Forsaken are taking in the show. Because in the books, it was all very behind the scenes and stuff. So having them be more directly involved, I like it. I still don't understand what Ishamael was doing at Atuan's Mill. Again, I think Gary called in, but whatever. But yeah, overall, like, Ishamael being the one in the dreams is really cool and really fitting.
Yeah, it fits Ishamael. It's dreams world. He loves playing with other people's dreams. So he was doing that in season 1. They are still using that in season 2. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
He should give Rand wet dreams.
No, that's Celine's job, is to give Rand wet dreams, and that's what she's done.
Yes.
She actually has, yes.
It's true. She has.
But yeah, I thought the dream was very well done. We keep getting those like glitches of like the weird cut with Ishi, and I found that was a nice way to show that, yes, this is a creepy dream.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that we got to see like Min's aunt, that like in Twitter of time we had, I was like, oh, we're going to get some backstory about Min. And no, it's actually the 2 Min aunts that are trying to...
It's still backstory.
It's still backstory.
It's just not canonical.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it might be. I don't know. Maybe that is what Min ran away from, or maybe that was Min's life before.
We actually don't know, because we don't know much about Min in the books. Like,
yeah, Min doesn't have a life in the books. She's a lamp.
Rip.
I loved Min overall. Like, you can tell that she is super, super conflicted, and I love it because I'm curious as to how it's going to play out for her this season and in the future. Like, she doesn't want to have these visions anymore. She believed that the Aes Sedai could take them away, which seems a little naive of her, but also she's desperate. So, I don't know. I'm curious.
I think they're rounding her out really well. Like, they're giving her a lot more depth, a lot more motivation that was lacking in the books. I think they're making, or not even that, I think they're just making her into what she could have been in the books, you know?
Yeah.
The way that she was kind of described, but then as she was written, it didn't actually come across that way. But now it's actually coming across as like this sort of world-weary person who has this gift/curse.
Yeah, I think it was really well done.
Yeah, she's over that shit.
She is very tired.
Yeah.
She's at least 30. She's tired.
Yeah. I'm very excited for how she's gonna evolve, because I mean, now she's basically being ordered around by Ishamael, and I don't know how she's gonna whether she's gonna get out of his grip or not, how she's gonna do that. And
yeah,
good luck to her.
Yeah. Best of luck.
Thoughts and prayers, Min.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was really good. Do we have anything else on that, or do we want to move to another short one, which I guess we could move to either Nynaeve or we can move to Lan?
Perrin would be even shorter.
Or Perrin, yeah.
Or Perrin. Actually, yeah, Matt, you have something on Perrin.
I do have something on Perrin. I loved everything about the Hopper scene. Like, as everybody who knows me knows, I'm not a huge fan of Perrin. Like, I like Perrin, but his story was always the least compelling to me of the 5 Ta'veren. I thought that the Hopper reveal was so sweet, though, as someone who didn't really click with Hopper in the books. The music and the scenery and the way that Elias was like, he'll show you when he's ready. It all felt very much like an emotional touchstone of the series, like the whole series up to this point. And I'm excited and continue to be excited about how this season, in changing the order of things or changing the small things that happen, is making everything click really well for me in a way that it didn't always click in the books, at least for characters like Perrin that I didn't really care for.
I will say, you know how book cloaks always get mad that they changed a character?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just imagining them getting mad that they made Hopper like a little less, angry, because in the books he was just snarling all the time.
Yeah.
And this Hopper seems like relatively docile and sad, like Perrin. And I was just imagining, what would book cloaks say about Hopper? They'd be like, they took his balls, they neutered him.
The thing is, I don't see a lot of book cloak complaints about Hopper because they cast a dog to play the wolf. They didn't cast a black man to play him. So there's not a lot of criticism that they can levy at the show for that.
That's where they would have had the problem. It's true.
Ooh. So the only thing I had regarding Perrin is that, it's been a season, something like that we got some indication about Perrin having some wolf-related things, and we got some good explanation as to why, not as to why, but as to what exactly it means in this episode. And I think it was actually well done in the show, in a sense that the explanation itself was pretty brief, but also pretty, good enough. I mean, I'm not a non-book reader, but I feel like it's clear enough that show viewers should have a good idea of what's going on now, while also not being like a full lecture of Wolf Brother. And the interaction between Elias and Perrin was, I think, very good for that side. So
I also really loved Elias's Wolf Brother. What's that? Figure it out, motherfucker. Come on. What do you think?
And also Elias's response to Perrin asking, like, am I going to turn into a wolf? He's like, don't be stupid. You fucking idiot. You fucking goober. Are you kidding me? He just looks like Elias is doing this in the most begrudging of ways. And I love it. I love it so much.
Gary Beadle just gets that character.
He's so good.
Oh, he's fantastic. I knew as soon as I saw that he was cast as him, I was like, oh, this is gonna be good. He's killing it. Yeah.
Lan?
Oh, Lan.
So
I love the whole thing with Alana, Lan, and
yeah, I guess Alana, Lan, and Maxim Nevon.
Yeah, I loved it. I saw some complaints, and I can see why people want to see more of the main characters, but honestly, my thing is we're not going to see as many Aes Sedai and Warders in the show as we saw in the books. There's just no space and there's just no time. Even if Amazon gave Ray 15 episodes per season or even 20, there just isn't the time to cover all of Jordan's world. So I would much rather that we get we get to see more of characters that we do have. So Alana's going to be important. Her warders are going to be important. I want to see more of those Aes Sedai that we don't get to see a lot of in the books. And I also think that I saw someone say that it was a pointless side quest that just like shoehorned into the Lanfear reveal, but I don't agree. I think everything wrapped up pretty well. So I liked it.
Yeah. Regarding the number of characters, I think the books have the issues that, yes, there's so many characters. There's not that many characters who actually get developed. In a sense, who get really a good personality, really a good background. You don't get, like, you don't know any of the Aes Sedai's family, for example.
Right.
You see a bit how they think, but you don't really have much stories about them. And I think it's okay, but I understand that for a TV show, you need a bit more, you need a bit more meat for every character that you have. And so I'm really enjoying that, yes, they decide not to have too many characters, but instead focusing more on like the secondary character. It's that thing. In the books, it feels like there's main character and there's like background characters. And there's not really like the secondary characters where you know a lot about them, but they're not the focus of the story.
Right.
I did think that a little bit too much time was spent on Lan's what's he going to do next thing, but not by so much that I was annoyed by it, just more like, oh, this is still going.
Yeah.
It's very minor.
Yeah.
One of the only questions I've had this season is why Alana is like, Lan can't know what this note says.
Yeah.
Lan knows the old tongue. And it literally says Lanfear over and over because that's what Daughter of the Night is. It's Lanfear.
Have we seen Lan open it and read it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was in his bed and then he put it in the bag. And Alana's like, he can't know what this says. And I'm like, bitch, he knows. He can read.
So the thing is that I feel like Alana may be thinking that if he knew that a Forsaken was free, why would he not say anything? So it could be like he can't know from not believing that like he's not talking about that.
Yeah, and he was also given the like he knows that the Forsaken, he knows that the possibility is out there because him and Moraine already had that conversation about Ishamael specifically, but she did sort of bring up that Ishamael may potentially be waking up other Forsaken. And so he's aware that it's a possibility. So this is not really a surprise for him, I'm imagining. But
yeah, I just think it's a little odd that Alana wouldn't assume that Lan already knows what the note says.
Yeah, there's another thing that Alana said that made me think a lot, is that she said that Moraine took Lan's bond, but I feel like the bond, you need some sort of channeling to get it or take it. And Moraine cannot do that.
Right.
So I'm really under the impression that Moraine has only given a very limited story to Alana. And that's why she's confused because, yeah, like literally a Forsaken is out there and nobody's panicking about it. Nobody's like warning all of the Aes Sedai about Lanfear being out.
Right, and I understand like that. I understand wanting to keep it like very limited because otherwise everybody's going to freak the fuck out and want to be in control of everything, and I get it, but Alana knows better.
Does she?
Well, okay, you know what? We'll save that for the second section.
I mean, maybe she doesn't. Does she? Yeah.
I had plenty about like Alana and her family especially. So one thing that I noted in this episode that I found was very well done is that basically the three storylines with Aes Sedai are three storylines where we talk about family and how all of those Aes Sedai are dealing with their families in very different way. Oh, there's Alana on one side that is still very close to her family, and despite like being older than she looks like and seeing everyone grow old, she also get to see everyone like grow, everyone like evolve, and And she's still very close to her family, and I found that very, very nice to see compared to Liandrin, who is hiding her son and is already mourning him because he's about to die. Or Moraine that doesn't even know how to talk with a little sister. And yeah, the whole Alana's family was hilarious. I loved that. I don't know whether that was her cousins or her nephews laughing about her
great-great-great-grandchildren.
Maybe, yeah.
bringing a third man. And I love this, like when Alana brings some food and Lan is like, oh, I'm still full from breakfast. And Alana, that was 2 hours ago at least. It says so much about her and about her culture, about, I don't know, how she is, who she is. Maxime's sucking at meditation. I love that. There was 2 nice conversations between, like one with Maxime and Lan, where we learned that Maxime apparently had his bond masked for a long time.
I had one thought on that, and Lan was like, does the tower know about this? I'm like, why does the tower care if you masked your bond? But again, minor.
I didn't understand all that conversation. I just assumed that Maxim was, or Yvonne, I forgot which is which.
Maxim's the hot one.
They're both hot, James.
They're both hot. So anyways, Taylor Napier, I thought that
Maxim,
she masked his bond just because he was extra horny, and she didn't want like the horny thoughts when she was focusing on something. So like that's what I took away from it. But also I don't know.
I don't think it was just that.
I don't think it was just that. I think he just has a chaotic brain.
He looks very much like ADHD kind of person.
Yeah.
He cannot sit 10 minutes to do meditation.
Not at all.
Everything goes so fast, and he doesn't like this intrusion, and that's understandable. Yeah. I think regarding Maxime and Lan, did Lan ever go through warder training at all? Because Moraine finds him away.
Oh,
and so how much does he exactly know about the bond? How much, like, what was he not told about?
That's a good point. I didn't even think of that.
That is a good point.
Which is also like true with even laughing at Lan being angry at not being an equal from Moraine. And for Even, it's like, yeah, obviously you're warder. Why are you sad about that?
And even if Lan had spent a little bit of time in the tower for like training and whatnot, he would have left fairly soon after, because him and Moraine have been traveling for years, for decades. And so, like, he is missing a lot of, I think, the context that other warders and Aes Sedai have.
Right.
And so it actually kind of makes sense that Lan may not be completely aware of how other dynamics work, because he's only really had him and Moraine as an example.
And Moraine is constantly traveling and never stay long with other Aes Sedai. So...
Oh my god, I'm imagining Lan just going up to another warder and being like, is this normal?
Right?
It's just...
And now I'm imagining like little like warder classes being like, sometimes when your Aes Sedai is having an orgasm without you, you might get hard. Don't do it.
Of course, this depends on the Aja. It's like Lan goes up to a brown Aes Sedai's warder and he's like, is this normal? It's like, no, we just read books all the time. And the green is like, no, we just fuck all the time.
Yes. I'm so enthralled with that idea. I love it. It's adorable.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we kind of learned in season 1 that, like, Lan and Moraine are the weird kids in terms of Aes Sedai and warders. Like, everyone else is like, oh, that's just them. They're just like that. And
he's just Lan.
He's just Lan and she's just Moraine. And that's kind of it.
It's true.
Yeah.
This Moraine is just Moraine.
Yeah.
I did have one, this is very tangential to Yvonne, but from a metaphysical standpoint, it was very interesting to me that Yvonne mentioned gods. Because I'm not sure that the books really have a concept of what a god is. They have the creator and the dark one, but there's not like a pantheon or anything for them to choose from. And I don't know if y'all discussed this in the religion episode, because that was the first one that I missed in 50 episodes, but the idea that there's deities out there is interesting. But it doesn't matter because it was just a line that's not meant to be taken seriously, so
my assumption is that it's like Randland is like our world in that there's a huge diversity of like thoughts. Like we get Randland and we get some of the Sanchan beliefs, but we never really get into their metaphysical beliefs. There's also the Madlands. There's the place out east beyond the Aiel Waste. So like I assume that some cultures have gods or deities. But I think Robert Jordan was like so wrapped up, not in a bad way, wrapped up in like combining Judeo-Christian ideas with Eastern philosophy on like time and reincarnation that it's just something he didn't want to spend time on. But like, so I agree with you. Like it was interesting and I wasn't expecting to hear it. I don't think that it like, and I know you didn't say this, but like, I don't think that it contradicts the books before the book cloaks come at us in the comments. I don't think it contradicts it.
I kind of do, just because I just personally thought that I interpreted religion in the Wheel of Time as this is fact. How we go about interpreting it, that's on us. But the truth is there's a god and a devil, and that is just it. But
yeah, it's very interesting.
Yep.
It's one of the things I've always found like really fascinating about the Wheel of Time.
I think, and also this is really me extrapolating, but like in popular fantasy shows, like the gods, it's like some of the archetypes that you always see, like, oh, the gods this. It's like every fantasy series also has to have the empire. So like, I don't know, maybe they just threw it in.
I think it was just a line that it doesn't matter. It's not going to come up.
Yeah.
Did we have anything else on Lan and Alana? And
I mean, we kind of already touched on this as well. I just really liked the contrast between seeing Lan with Alana's family, and there was so much love and joy, specifically in the meal scene, and just, and laughter, and it was warm. And the contrast of Moiraine spending time with, or trying very hard not to spend time with her little sister. And it was just so, like, it was obvious to me anyway that there's love there, but there's so much time that's gone past that they can't even, like, or maybe not love, but there's at least a hint of a familial relationship, but they can't, too much has gone past. And they're just at this point where conversation is stilted and stale, and they just can't. And it made me feel, I mean, we're getting into more Moiraine territory now, but it just made me really sad for Moiraine. And this is, I
mean, it's a good transition to Moraine's territory.
Here we go.
Oh, God. Moiraine.
I'm not a fan of Moiraine. I have thoughts. Like, on the one hand, like, I like that they're trying to venture into something different from the books. And I had the feeling that when Moiraine said we've never been equals to Lan, what she really meant was she's always viewed him as more than or above her or better than her. Given especially like the clips that we saw, I guess, of like them putting their heads together. I'm not sure this is a spoiler because we don't know what that scene is. It's it's like publicly released teasers, but like that's what I'm thinking. But even if she has a reason for doing what she's doing, I don't like the meanness, and I didn't get a sense that her sister like ever did anything to her that would warrant someone to like cut off their family. Like it just, until the end of the episode, Moiraine this season has just given me vibes that I don't like. I guess I can understand why maybe they're doing it, but I don't like it.
I don't think you're supposed to like her. Like, that's kind of the thing is,
I don't think she's mean.
I think she's mean.
I think she's autistic, not mean.
Oh.
There's a moment she has with Anvir where she's not exactly, I mean, when she's waiting by her door, kind of considering entering and going to talk, I don't know how to explain it, but it doesn't seem like it's not that she wants to be mean or she wants to hurt. It's just that something got broken, a relationship got broken, and how do you interact with your own family that you haven't seen in decades for probably good reason? And yeah, she doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know how to act. She doesn't know how to talk. She doesn't get that relationship aspect.
Right.
And for me, it was very relatable and not, yes, it can look rude and mean, but I don't think it's intentional.
Right. But I mean, intent only goes so far. Like, I didn't mean to be a complete bitch doesn't mean that you weren't a complete bitch.
Right.
That's not to say that there's not overlap or that there's not an amount that can be forgiven. 100% there is. And I think one of the beautiful things about the characters is that we can all see different things in them. For me, it's just more of that's weird that she is, going this hard on it. I understand it. And it's not out of character for her. It's just difficult to see after I've been rooting for her for so long, and I'm still rooting for her.
Yeah.
It's just, she's making it hard.
I feel like she is being a bit colder than is necessary to do what she needs. Because she's an Aes Sedai. Like, she can just, and she's also Moraine Damodred. She could just say, okay, I'm doing this, bye. But it seems like she's added a level of spite to some of her interactions that I feel are unnecessary given how much of a badass bitch she is normally. Like, you can do the things that you're doing and push the people away without being as spiteful as I feel you're being. But again, it's not everyone's going to feel the same way about it.
Right. I mean, you're rude. You push the buttons in the ways that will work, and it will work. And also, I do think there's a line earlier from Alana when Lan asks, was she happier then? And Alana says, I don't know if she's ever been happy. And I'm like, that, given Moraine and who she is, this isn't really spoilers because we know she came from a very rich house that was ruined. I honestly don't know if she's ever been happy.
Yeah. And I think that's part of why she's blue, like, other than like being Moraine, and because it's what the show requires and the books require. I think she's blue because, if she's not ever been happy, like searching for a cause to improve the world that she can throw herself into really explains a lot about her character.
Right. And I think for somebody who finds usefulness or who finds purpose in being useful, that is very much in line with her character. Like, her purpose is to get shit done, because she doesn't know how to get fulfillment in her everyday life, like from relationships or something. And it's what works for her. I'm not saying it's working well right now, but it's who she is. So,
though we do know that she has been happy when she's in the fishy hut.
I don't even know if she's been, I think that's so momentary.
Temporary happiness.
Yeah, it's so momentary.
Yeah.
It's like fleeting glimpses of happiness.
Yes. She's like, this is what could be if. And she's talked about that. Like in episode 6, she was like, or Suan was making that speech about like what she could have had or what people want, and it doesn't matter. But anyway, Moraine in this episode was very, very good.
She was better, that for sure, for me, especially at the end.
I loved having Moraine and Logain interact as much as they have, and finding out that Moraine is the one that like pulled all the strings is just phenomenal. Like, to get Logain there, I don't know how she got Rand there, but she probably was like, hey, you should go to Kyrian, ha ha. It was really good. And having those two interact is really good.
Yeah.
It kind of broke my heart when she brings out the knife and she mentioned that that's the only thing that someone cut off from the One Power. Like, that's the thing someone cut off from the One Power desires the most. And I'm like, yeah, you got cut off from the One Power. You have a personal experience with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, she wants to kill herself. And the only thing that's stopping her is like her commitment to making sure Rand succeeds.
Yeah.
But as Kat was mentioning a little bit earlier, like, all of the interactions between Moraine and Anver were phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like, just so good. Especially that last scene when Anver just like gives it to her and is like, this is not your house. This is not your city. And I am not your little sister anymore. All those eyes and ears you had, they're mine now. The head of the sanitarium, Celestine. The guard you hailed at the gate, Sandaire. If you want to know where that red-headed boy in the inn went, you're going to have to ask me very nicely over tea. Like,
I love that.
Bitch.
The fact that she would bargain information just to get a cup of tea with her sister she hasn't seen in several decades.
I don't think it's anything to do with sentimentality. A little bit, maybe. I think it's more like she wants Moraine to know she's head bitch in charge right now.
Right.
I think there's a little bit of sentimentality too, in the sense that she...
Could be both.
she was mad that Moraine didn't even stay for a cup of tea when she just arrived.
Right. I do agree that there's some sentimentality.
If there's no, so like, there's lots of families where like there's bad blood and like the last parting was not good and you go no contact, but I didn't get that sense from either one of them. I feel like Moraine just went off to the tower and like left that life behind, and there's not necessarily bad blood. They've just drifted, and her sister wants to show her big sister, like, one, I don't need to be an Aes Sedai to be the head bitch in charge, and two, also maybe a little bit of sentimentality, because I did get the sense that she missed that time with Moraine. It was a very emotionally complex set of scenes, and I think they were really, really well done. Like, just phenomenal from both actresses.
Yeah, overall I thought that, that relationship was very well done and kind of not really relatable because the situation is a bit different, but it feels very realistic to me because, when you leave home, and at first I'm sure she tried to keep in touch, but the longer it takes for letters to come back, and I don't think she just left and say no, never again, especially if she had apparently a good relationship with her sister.
I think she did. I can absolutely see Moraine being like, you all want me to do something. I want nothing to do with this. Bye.
Even with her little sister?
Even with her, like, maybe...
Because she did look very nostalgic in that bedroom.
Yeah, she did a little bit. I don't know. I don't think there was much love between the two, but maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know.
Yeah, as soon as I saw that Lindsay Duncan, and I know me and James, I think pretty much everyone had the exact same reaction when we saw that she was cast, and we're like, Lindsay Duncan and Rosamund Pike in scenes together is too much, I think. It's too much.
I mean, the way people feel about Maria Doyle Kennedy in season 1, that is how I feel about Lindsay Duncan in season 2.
Yeah.
Like, I did not have the same level of hype for Maria Doyle Kennedy. I loved her. She was fucking phenomenal, but I wasn't like, ooh, Maria Doyle Kennedy. I was like, Lindsay Duncan, what are you gonna do?
And like the whole beginning sequence of her getting, like, right off at the beginning of the episode, her getting ready.
When she got off?
So good. What?
Being that close to Josha, I mean.
I said getting ready.
You said when you saw her getting off.
I said getting ready. Maybe I said getting off. I don't know.
Play back the tape.
You know what? Good for her if that's what she was doing. Good for her. She deserves it.
Also, did you notice that scene when she gets ready? It's the same music that when Moraine was taking her bath in the first episode. I was like, yes, we got it. They're family.
They're family. They're dramatic as hell. Those Damodreds. They have a very similar vibe.
Yeah, I enjoyed all of Moraine and Anver, and I'm very excited.
I think you guys already talked about it. I just found them heartbreakingly beautiful, is what I kept thinking. Like, it's just, it made me sad, but also it was fantastic because it was a masterclass in acting, but also just sad because it just seems like their lives are like, sorry, my cat is knocking over shit. It seems like their lives are just like, kind of like full but empty in a weird way and in very different ways.
Yeah. They're busy.
Yes, they're busy. So much is happening.
I just had a joke in my brain about being full but empty.
Oh,
Okay, so anyway, we're going to move to the tower, and most of our time in the tower is going to be spent talking about Nynaeve and Leandrin. But before we get there, we need to have a moment to talk about Lyanna's outfit.
Oh my god.
And how it is the best outfit in the entire show, both seasons.
Listen,
like, I paused it.
The costume department put their whole pussy into this season.
They detached their pussy so they could put all of it in.
All of it. All of it. My god.
I feel like there's a potential for a title here, but...
I'm sure there is.
They detached their entire pussy so they could put all of it in.
Detach the pussies.
I just think that brocaded, woven, avant-garde thing on top with a simple slip dress underneath was so Liane, and we're gonna get it's so good.
Oh my god.
It's so good. I paused it. We were camping. I went to town to download the episode. I went back to the campsite to watch it in the tent on the air mattress, and I paused it in the middle of that scene, just
as you should,
just to look at it, because it was beautiful. Okay, fine. Let's talk about Nynaeve and her being sad and how she just needs to get over it.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. She lost a kid. Come on, Jay.
She spent 5 years in there. At least 5 years.
Yeah. I mean, it's I like that we got confirmation about that because, I mean, that kid was was about 5, right?
At least 5, like at minimum 5. And yeah, and then they had to get like a year to get back to Amonsfield and get pregnant. So 6 years.
At least.
6 years or 7, at least, yeah. And so that's a long, and I mean, as far as she knows, she lived that. She lived through that. She doesn't know any different. And so I'm glad that they're not just letting it be, because that's not realistic. This was her reality, and she is not going to just get over this, although she is going to have a very good distraction very soon. Actually, immediately. She's going to have something to keep her busy.
Yeah.
I don't understand how, like, deeply traumatic this was for her. And Egwene is trying really, really hard. And Egwene assumed that something terrible happened. Like, she was, assaulted, mutilated, like, something terrible happened in there. And Egwene is just like, it's not real. It's okay. None of it was real. And while that is the right thing to say, it is the wrong thing to say.
Yes.
Yeah. It's, and I mean, she's trying her best to be a good friend. She doesn't know, though. She doesn't know what Nynaeve, and I would be, quite frankly, surprised if Nynaeve ever revealed to anyone, except maybe Lan, about what she experienced in the Arch, in that third trial.
I mean, she told Liandrin, apparently.
Yeah.
She told Liandrin a little bit, yeah.
She told her a bit.
But
I did find it funny that it's the second time that Egwene tells someone none of it was real, and in both situations it was the worst thing to say.
Yes.
Poor Egwene, she is trying so hard right now, and she
means well.
She does, and she's failing through no fault of her own. It's just the situation that she's in. And it's gotta be, she's so out of her depth right now. She has no idea what to do, and she keeps trying to do the right thing, and it keeps not being the right thing to do.
When did she say it the first time?
Mashinchin to Rand.
Oh, right. Yeah, I loved, we talked about it a little bit. I love that moment between Liandrin and Nynaeve. Like, Liandrin isn't quite at the same level as Selene / Lanfear when it comes to manipulation, but she leans into the fact that she comes off as cold. And that bit about her, like, I kept my son a secret for 80 years now, 90. I told myself it was for his own protection. Stop my enemies from hurting him to get to me. I could have hidden him anywhere, probably 1,000 safer places. But I kept him here in Tar Valon. I kept him here for me, because I was afraid. I couldn't risk losing the only thing in this world that's ever been truly mine. Like, oh, okay. I'm having feelings.
The thing about that quote is she got me until the something that was mine part. It seems possessive.
Of course she's possessive.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah, I know that, but like, I don't know.
I like also like what she said later on about you find a piece of this world that belongs to you and you hold on to it, and then when it's finally gone, you find another.
Yeah.
I'm wondering how recently she turned to the dark.
Yeah.
Like, maybe once her son started dying?
Yeah.
I don't know. Because that would make me feel for her. And that's what I want to do, is feel worse for Liandrin.
Yep. I can see I can see Liandrin focusing so hard on her son and focusing so hard on him for so long, and then getting the news that he is sick and dying and being like, what do I have left now?
Yeah.
What else do I have? What else do I have for me? And
I have a confession to make. Like in the books, I would have never supported the dark. As the show is making me root for so many servants of the dark. I was not expecting it. Leandrine and Lanfear. I'm just the two of them. I'm kind of rooting for them now, and I'm not okay with that.
Yeah,
I'm rooting for Leandrin.
Apparently, I support women's wrongs.
absolutely.
I'm rooting for Leandrin. I'm not rooting for Lanfear.
I mean, I can understand where they're coming from. I can understand. I would turn to the dark to get on some of that Josha, but you know.
You would turn to the dark for someone to call you a possum.
That makes no sense.
Shut up. I'm tired.
You just literally called me a possum and I didn't have to turn to the dark.
Anyway, so you know how in the episode 2, I guess it was, like, people had that Elaine line that was like, oh, you can put that right there, thank you. And that was like, she's my Elaine, blah, blah, blah. I had it a little bit, but in this episode, the line that did that for me was, yes, I'm following you, obviously.
Yes.
Yes, that was fantastic.
Yeah.
That was just a good line.
Also, the way that Leandrin says, you're a complication, I was like, and also just the way that she came out of the literal darkness and appeared.
It was so good. It was so good, and it's taken straight from the books.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
God, I'm going to have such a hard time rereading the books because I'm going to want to see more of Leandra in the books, and then I realize that she's basically a non-character.
No, this is going to be the exact same thing that happened with Eridol and Manetherin. It is canon now.
It's canon. Yeah.
It's what happened.
That's right.
Leandrin does something stupid in the books. I'm going to be like, it's okay, your son just died.
It's true.
That's okay. You're doing your best. You just need another piece. You just need another piece to hold on to. That's all.
Yeah. Since we quickly mentioned Elaine, I just want to say the first meeting between Elaine and Nynaeve being Nynaeve getting into Elaine's room and telling her to get the fuck out.
Incredible.
That's hilarious.
It was all I wanted from that interaction was exactly something like that. It was perfect. And Elaine hesitated for a split second and was like, wait, I am the daughter heir. And then looked at Nynaeve's face and realized
she was not winning.
I don't want this smoke.
You're not winning.
I don't want this smoke. I'm not winning this. I'm going to get out.
Peace.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah, exactly.
Have fun, Egwene.
And then proceeds to listen in anyways.
100%. Because I mean,
so Elaine.
Nynaeve didn't say anything about not listening in, and so she can't get in trouble for that.
She said, get out.
Also, Nynaeve started to talk when Elaine was literally just right out of the door. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, it was obvious. And she started with like the worst thing ever, like Perrin and Loyola in danger. Like obviously someone who hears that are going to stop and listen in.
Right.
I love the Emmons Field 5, but they don't always use the brain cells the creator gave them.
They don't. Bless their hearts.
They definitely don't.
And I don't think that the creator gave any of them that many to begin with.
Right.
But she tried.
Listen, they're doing their best. They really are. Like, that brain cell is just bouncing from brain to brain here.
Yeah.
So let's move to, I'm looking at our notes, let's move to Lanfear, and I see that Kat and I had the same note about Lanfear being released from her seal.
Yeah, I'm seeing the episode in full. I'm sad now that we got that clip. I get why they gave it to us, because it's it's fantastic. I would have appreciated it a lot more if we hadn't known that it existed until the episode.
It would have hit so much harder.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just to bookend it.
I had not watched the clip.
And see, that's the thing. I already watched the clip that they released today for tomorrow's episode because we're recording this on Wednesday.
Me too.
Don't even know what it is about.
It's about some ugly-ass bald chick.
No.
Don't tell them. Don't tell them anything.
Nobody tells me. I don't want to know the context at all.
Okay, I'm not telling you. Okay.
They have more self-control than us.
For example, for episode 4, there was also a scene about, I don't know, Lan peeing against the trees and talking to Elena. everyone on Twitter of time was like mad about that clip, and it was like out of context. And of course, that kind of clip gonna be always out of context. That's normal. That's the purpose of a clip.
This is why I don't watch those things.
And I'm like, I'm sure that just the whole drama that they got about this scene already put a negative idea about the whole Lan and at Alana's place. And I'm like, would have then be as mad about the whole thing as they not watched that clip before?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe not.
I mean, I want to not watch clips going forward, but I'm gonna. I know myself. And you know what? That's just something I need to work on.
Yeah.
See, I'm the opposite. I feel like I should watch clips, but I know I'm not gonna.
Don't.
So, let's see. Kat has made this comment a couple of times. I'm going to make it in this one, but Natasha O'Keefe playing Lanfear, playing Celine, is just top tier. The entire scene after Rand channels how she acts so repulsed by him, but she is in control of every movement her body is making, everything that is coming out of her mouth. I don't think she's rehearsed this, though. Like, that's the thing. This just comes naturally to her. It is as natural as breathing, and it is amazing. I will say, she had a good fucking point, or a very compelling point, and I kind of get it for the lesbians, is Rand is like, I don't know how much time we have and she says, the same as everyone else. Never enough. And I'm like,
that's so true.
Swoon.
It's true.
That is swoon worthy.
So true.
Absolutely. Oh my God. It's the way she had me convinced for a second that she didn't actually know that Rand could travel, that Rand could channel. That's how good she was. I was like, wait, does she not know? What's going on? That's how good she is.
Because she recoiled.
Yes. It's so good.
It was visceral.
So what I'm hearing is that both Natasha O'Keefe and Lanfear needs an Emmy nomination.
Yeah.
No, not even close to like the level of acting of Zoe Robbins in episode 3, but...
Well...
Oh, but like the thing is that I feel like there's so many of those actresses that needs an Emmy nomination through this show.
Yeah.
It's, gosh.
There's some good work being done.
Wouldn't it be crazy if the show got Emmy nominated? Or won Emmys? Our little Wheel of Time show.
I would love it.
They deserve something.
And then we get to the shack where they're actually fucking. And...
Another fuck chat.
That's right.
Another fuck shack, and...
Another fuck hut.
The way they did the entire reveal of Celine as Lanfear was fucking amazing. Like, having the voice transition from Yvonne reading the prophecy to Ishamael's, while flashing back from Leandrin, like, leaning up and her hair down to Lanfear's seal being broken while she rides Rand is just like, it was perfect.
So good. It's so good. And you could see... no pun intended, you could see Lanfear coming out. Like, you could see her emerging as that scene was coming. And then, of course, we got the cock blocking.
I gasped. I was not expecting it.
No.
I
not at all.
Loved it. Just where Rand was like, you killed her. And Moiraine says, I haven't, I couldn't. Because that is Lanfear, daughter of the night, the most dangerous of the Forsaken. And then the way Moiraine runs, she has never run in her life.
She's hauling ass.
Can you imagine her running up that hill? Like
making a deal with the creator.
She booked it straight from Castle Damodred, ran the entire way up the hill.
Oh my God.
Because
so good.
Moiraine cannot cook. Moiraine cannot run a 5K.
No. This is not a woman who does labor. Like, she is.
No.
To be honest, I was surprised seeing her carrying that well water, and that she. Good for her. Good for her.
Yeah, she built up some endurance.
She did. Yeah.
But oh my God. Okay. Okay. Now we can move to book
spoilers.
Let's move to the spoilers then.
I thought about it, and I'm glad that we had Moraine killing Lanfear and then the Dark One just bringing Lanfear back right away. I don't want this body swapping. It didn't work for me in the books, especially with, and some straight het bro is like, oh, but like, you know, Balthamel gets put into Osengar's body and ha funny. We don't need that. And we don't need what's her face, the person that Lanfear becomes after.
Okay, so first of all, this, I wasn't going to correct you, but it's bothering me. Balthamel is put into Arengar's body, and Agenor is put into Osengar's body, and
we know that I don't know shit.
Lanfear is put into Sindane.
Sindane, yes.
Sindane, that's
We
it.
don't need Sindane.
No, we don't.
We need the Forsaken to be in the show until they are permanently unalived.
Yep.
Unsubscribed from the wheel.
I assume that Balefire is the thing that will actually kill them, and I'm excited for Balefire to be introduced, and I think they're going to make it even more catastrophic to the pattern and reality than it is in the books. Because in the books, it's like, don't do that. Don't do that. It's bad. But you don't see the effects of it until like the last battle when Mazrim Taim is just like shooting Balefire everywhere. And like literal cracks start appearing in the fabric of reality. Like, I think they're going to bump that up a bit, and Balefire is going to be much more terrifying.
Yeah.
And it's also going to look so cool. Because the channeling looks fantastic already. I can't imagine.
I hope that it is, like, I'll trust whatever they do, but I really hope it's that, like, screeching light, like, because it's always described as, like, the Nazgul's howl type of thing.
Right.
And the white bar of light, and that's how I've always imagined it. I hope it's like that. I don't care. It's cool. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
The only spoiler thing I had in here is that Barthanes is definitely Anver's son.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to bet a very small amount of money that Moraine is going to stab him and kill him, probably in front of Anver.
Wait, why?
Because Anver said that nothing is going to become between his son marrying the queen and uplifting their house again. I don't know. How does Barthanes die in the book? Barthanes?
Is he a dark friend?
Yes.
Yes.
He is,
Okay.
yeah.
He gets killed for being a dark friend.
By who?
It's too bad the actor's hot.
He gets punished by someone from the dark for like basically telling Rand what Fane asked him to tell him.
That's what it was.
Something like that.
He was torn to... Oh, he was killed by a golem.
Okay.
See? I said it.
Here we go. There we go.
And he was only in 3 chapters of The Great Hunt. So I hope it's like... So, you know, it would be devastating if Moraine tries to kill Barthanes and Anver comes up and saves him, and Moraine kills Anver and then has to kill Barthanes still.
I don't want that.
Yeah, anyway.
Camille considered it and quickly was like, nope.
So I have one quick point and then a slightly longer point about spoilers. One, I love Selene / Lanfear's story and reveal more in the show than I did in the books. Sorry, Robert Jordan, I love you, but I think this was a very fun way of doing it. Part 2 is Leandrin and the role she's going to play going forward, now that we know she's a dark friend. I think at this point, any theory that she is going to be combined with Elida is just a non-starter, and it's not something I'm going to listen to because Rafe has said he's looking forward to seeing Elida, and the reveal of Leandrin as a dark friend also continues to confirm that. So like Leandrin as Elida it's not happening. No, just no.
People aren't saying that anymore. That's like several weeks ago.
Oh, I saw one from a few days ago, but
well, you need to have people blocked. You need to have more dumb people blocked.
Anyways, so my real question is, so like in season 1, we were wondering if Leandrin was going to be merged with Elida or Alviren, but now I have a different theory. I'm wondering if she's going to be merged with Alviren or if she's going to be merged with several other minor Black Aja sisters and be given a role like Galena. And I said Galena tops, Leandrin obviously tops, so there's a connection there. I don't know which I would prefer. I think I trust Wraith to do justice to either one. I would think it would be cool to see a White Aja sister at some point in the show, or at least have the White Aja mentioned at some point.
They can be mentioned.
Your disdain for the White Aja is just...
Look, philosophy nerds deserve...
They are not philosophy nerds. They are math nerds.
Math nerds. Okay, math nerds also deserve something. I don't know.
They deserve some rights.
But anyways, I would like to... I think that Leandrin following Galena's storyline could also be an interesting thing. But also, I don't know if I see her being Alviarin, because it seems like she's evil and she's on the dark, but she doesn't seem... I'm the head of the Black Aja evil.
She's too haughty and explosive and not smart enough.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I think at some point we need to stop talking about, like, will this specific character be merged with this specific character, or will this specific character will be merged with this other specific character? Mostly because it's really going to be at, like, to the point. What's going to happen is that at some point they're going to need a Black Aja sister doing this specific role, and they're gonna need a Black Aja sister doing this specific role. Then can those two roles be done by the same person at the same time? Yes, no. If no, then you have two different Black Aja sisters at that time. If yes, then you have the same Black Aja sisters.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to speculate, but not spend a whole lot of time on. I agree.
Right.
No, this is just me brain eating. I am not putting my personality into this, or like...
I know, I just think I've seen that, like, maybe it may be the 20th time I'm getting that conversation.
And the expectation is kind of that it's going to be half and half. Like, it's half Leandrin, half Alviarin, or half Leandrin, half Galena. And I agree. I don't think that's how it's going to be.
And it's also because, like, my other point...
I was going to say, I was like, what is your other point here?
yeah, but, like, it's because I also kept saying that, oh, Moraine asked Logain to train Rand. That means that Logain is gonna replace Asmodean. And I'm like, can Rand not have two fucking teachers at some point?
Right.
And not two teachers that is fucking Matt. I feel like I need to specify.
Clarify.
That would be a hot threesome now.
It would be.
Yeah. And it annoys me. It annoys me every time I'm saying, oh, this has happened. That means that those two characters are getting merged. Mm-hmm. I'm like, no, it just means that we needed that specific things to happen, and this character was available to do it.
Mm-hmm. Right. I think it's fun to speculate a little bit, but not spend a whole bunch of time on it.
Not fixate on it.
Just Twitter of time is tiring me sometimes.
It's fun to speculate, as long as you're not,
Okay. Leandrin, Kat, you had a point?
Yeah, so we've kind of already talked about it. I am curious to see Leandrin's actual motivation for joining the Dark.
Mm-hmm.
Because it feels like there's a little bit of genuineness to her. Like, it doesn't feel like she's completely, like, I think she was genuinely, like, she had genuine respect for Nynaeve, and she genuinely, when she said sorry, I think she meant it. I genuinely do think she meant it.
Yeah.
And so I'm curious as to what her reasoning is and how deep we'll get into it, and whether this is something that, like, is this something that will stick with her entire character? Is this something where, like, she will turn back to the light later on? Like, I'm curious to see what direction they're going to take with Leandrin, because I really like what they're doing so far. I love it, actually.
I do want to see a redemption arc of some sort from any character.
I think that's so interesting that we're talking about Leandrin having a redemption arc.
I know.
It's wild. It's amazing. I love this show so much.
It's great, though. It's so good. And, like, Kate Fleetwood is bringing a level to this character that even in season 1, I never could have anticipated this. And they told us just before season 2, they're like, Kate Fleetwood is going to blow people away this season. And I was like, yeah, I'm sure she's going to be great. I was not ready for this. I was not prepared for this.
Also, not going to say it, but the clip that they released, Kate Fleetwood was amazing in it.
Anyway.
And then I just had two small other points. I am very excited to see the Wonder Girls. I know some people don't like the name, whatever, I don't care. I'm excited to see the combination of Nynaeve and Lelaine switch from being almost antagonistic to Nynaeve being like, this is my new child who I must protect. Because it's gonna happen. And Elaine being like, okay, a new friend. This is great. we're gonna save Egwene, my other new friend, my other new best friend.
Yes.
I'm very excited to see the dynamic going forward. And then I like that this kind of sets up with going back to Moraine and Lanfear and all of that. It sets up sort of what happens later at the docks during that moment. It kind of builds we're building a foundation for their future times.
Right. We're giving them a meaningful reason to hate each other as opposed to Moraine just, I came in like a wrecking ball. Like, because that's what that scene was at the docks. Like, that's literally what it was. It came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
This lets us have backstory, and I love it.
Yeah, it's really good. They're doing a really great job at setting up future plot points. I'm so excited.
It's less wrecking ball and more, I knew you were trouble when you stabbed me.
Exactly.
So I had a few tiny spoiler mention. I'm shivering at every mention of the tensions within the tower, and Liandrin telling Lyanna that if Swan falls, she'll fall too.
She straight up said that. She just said that.
Bitch! What?
She has audacity. The audacity.
That is on the same level as Varen being like, even oaths have loopholes that can be exploited.
Listen, I can't.
I'm not ready for season 4.
The only person that would have been, if Elida had been introduced at this point, and Elida said that role, or said that line, that would have been the only way it could have been better.
Yeah.
I'm kind of liking that Elida will not, like, if when Elida will come in, she will not be the only responsible for the tension in the tower. Like, the tension were already there. And I kind of like that twist compared to the books.
Yeah.
A few other minor things, like Uncle wound us. I'm hoping we'll get to dive a little bit into that, because, like, yeah, the uncle was basically the responsible for the Aiel war. No wonder it ruined the Damodred.
Yeah, I think we are going to get that with Barthanos.
Yeah, let's see that.
Yeah.
Egwene, like, she's basically trying so hard because she doesn't want to fail her friend. And I'm sorry, but, like, by the end of season 8, Sis will come back to haunt us. And I'm just, every time she's like, I just want to be good enough to protect my friend. I'm gonna suffer for 8 season totals. And last thing, like, Matt is still not lucky. Matt still doesn't have any luck, and I'm curious when is it gonna happen? What's gonna be the switch?
Yeah, because at this point it's very purposeful.
It is.
Rand got his thing at the end of the last season. Perrin is getting his thing this season. Is Matt going to get it near the end of the season or in season 3?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's gonna come in at a point where he absolutely, like, it's gonna kick in when he needs it. Not now when he's just sort of like fucking around and playing and whatnot, but when he needs it, that's when it will kick in.
I'm kind of curious because so in the books it's really being healed from the daggers that triggers it. In the show, well, there is one image in the trailer that seems to indicate that he will face the dagger again.
Yeah.
I'm wondering whether that's going to be the trigger or not, or whether it's going to be something completely non-related to the dagger, because after all, why would it be dagger related?
Yeah.
So
it'll be interesting.
And that's pretty much it for me. Do we have anything else that we need to say?
No.
Well, in that case, thank you very much for listening to this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, let us know in the Discord or on Twitter or everywhere. We love reading comments about people what they think about our episode, whether we gave them new thoughts, whether they have different thoughts than us on those episodes. We love to hear, about that. And also, you can find us as always on Twitter, Instagram, Discord, TikTok, Blue Sky. Do I remember all those things? I don't know. It is fine. And if you want to support us, we do have a Patreon. We always love getting some support. It's podcasting is not that cheap. So
we just had to renew our thingy, and I was like, a couple of weeks ago I was like, we almost paid off Camille, yay! And then the spreadsheet got updated, and We still owe mommy money.
Yeah, basically.
So we're going to start a fundraiser.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you all for listening. This was Queers of Time, a Wheel of Time podcast. The music is Dance of the Witches by Julius H.